So this is part 2. And again, you have to think about how does this apply to you. So role versus personal information, societal versus personal roles, predictive and explanatory data, and social versus personal message. So if we look at role versus personal information, you always have to be conscious of what role you are in, and that will determine what and how you share the information. So I am in a role of professor, you are in a role of student. Okay, so individuals act or respond based on that particular role, and individuals act or respond based on personal information. So you always have to decide what is the personal information you are going to share and what is the purpose of that. Okay, and again, remember, if you are in a client situation, counselor and client, I kind of encourage you not to share a lot of personal information because that client can go right out the door and repeat it. And then predictive and explanatory data. Once you get to know others better, you can learn how to predict and explain their behavior, obviously. Okay, but again, in this classroom, this virtual learning classroom, this is why it's important you attend the real-time session, because we will be interacting with each other and you will be listening to each other through activities, and I will let you choose what group you're going to be in. So you will be collecting data and have some informed information. So societal versus personal roles. So rules of society can be any community. For example, SUNY Schenectady County Community College is a society. So when we are doing our service learning projects, they'll be certain, I'll have you sign a paper because there's certain things we can't do because we have to follow certain rules. For example, if we are collecting money, we can't just hand money to an organization. We have to go out and buy goods for them and hand them particular goods. So you have to make sure sometimes, particularly when you're being employed, do these rules mesh with your own personal rules? So societal versus personal messages. Messages vary in disclosure, in content, depending upon the relationship. Again, is it impersonal? Is it highly personal? So some elements of interpersonal communication. All different categories. And again, the most important one is context. You have to remember, what context are you communicating with somebody in? So the source, speaker, or sender, so you're formulating and sending the message. You encode messages by putting their meanings into code. What do we mean by that? You are letting them somehow know that you are understanding what they say. So there's different techniques we will talk about: summarizing, paraphrasing, just maybe reinterpreting what they say, so you can take meaning out of what they're telling you. So listener receiver decodes, takes meanings out of the code. So interpersonal communication involves both verbal and nonverbal. So verbal is obviously your words. So in these nonverbal categories, facial expressions, think about, can you feel what your face is doing? Okay, when you're talking to somebody, do you know if your eyebrows are going up or if your eyes are rolling or what's going on? We will again go into these a lot more depth, but this is something for you just to start practicing now. Eye contact. How comfortable are you with eye contact? How comfortable are you with silence? Visual. Do you notice what's around? Do you notice a person, their facial expressions, what they're wearing? Touch. We can learn a lot about touch from touch when it's appropriate. Obviously not in a client situation. Body language, pay attention to your body language, pay attention to other people's body language. And then tone, okay? What is your particular tone when you're speaking with others? And do you pick up on their tone? So different ways a message is sent, different channels. And again, depending on the channel, how comfortable are you with the channel? I know I'm a very visual person, so I'm really thrilled that 4 of my classes are in real time. I may not know all of your names yet, but I'm getting to know your names and your faces. And then mediated channels, okay? And you have to really be careful about texting messages, okay? I'm going to say this 100 times. I'll sound like a broken record during this class, but when you text people, try not to get into some big long message or some, big long argument. Because a lot of times, if you're not really a great communicator or you're only beginning or if it's a heated issue, it probably will go badly. And I'm sure you can all give examples of that. So noise, interference that keeps a message from being received, actual physical noise, or is it noise in your head? So how do you get rid of that noise so that you can concentrate on what the other person is saying? And the context, the situation where communication takes place, okay? So it's really important. It has to take place in a situation that will enhance communication. So a physical spot. So you notice I'm trying to sit with a picture behind me so I don't have a whole lot of clutter in here. You notice I've unplugged the cord for the computer in these slides. Time, I know you can't make a PowerPoint that's an hour long. People will snore and go to sleep. So again, I want you to be able to get something out of it. And then cultural, we'll be talking a lot about culture. And culture doesn't just mean the color of your skin, okay? It means where were you born? Where were you raised? Your environment. Where are you going to get an education? Where are you working? What's the culture of SUNY Schenectady County Community College? So it's, it's the culture of a particular place, not just, the color of somebody's skin. So this is the end of part 2. So again, the most important thing in here, piece of information is apply it to yourself, okay? So have a good day, and I'll see you next time.